So, hello everyone. Hopefully my sound is working okay. Yep. Um, so we're looking forward to a match between Cross Online and Gingerbreadman17. Cross Online is online, so I'm going to just open up his TV. That match will be starting in 6 minutes. And okay, so just going to open up his TV in the background, and while we're waiting for the match, we'll just maybe we should update on how things are going in the Crazyhouse World Championships, or just watch some games by Skefta Milos. No, what I should really be telling you is we just had a very exciting match over on Clearcast stream between Maple Kev and someone whose name I can't pronounce. So let's actually open up the challenge. So we're looking forward to a match between Cross Online and Gingerbreadman17, but today Clercast has done all the hard work because he's covered the match by Mugwort against Maya94, and also the match by Maple Kev, who's a streamer, Crazyhouse streamer from Canada, against a Dutch compatriot of his whose name, let's see if I can find it, Maple Kev. Here we go, Blige-Metz-Steward. So that was a very intense game because it went to 5-5, and then 6-6, and then 6.5, 6.5, and then it's a deciding game. And Blige-Metz-Steward took it, so I think that's 75-65 in his favour. I'll correct it later if I got that wrong, but I'm just going to put that down for now. But the point is, well, I'm kind of giving it away that he won. And in the other match, which just happened earlier, we saw Mugwort in the main bracket in round 3. Hi there, Clearcast with the raid. Mugwort's already been inserted with the 6-3 win against Maya94. Mugwort now goes on to face Morlock. Yeah, hi there, raiders. Yeah, we're looking forward to a match between Cross Online and Gingerbreadman17. I've been watching Clearcast stream. It's been very entertaining. It was a great match. If people didn't catch it, they should check out the VOD. And just going to do a rundown on how things are going in general. So we're at the kind of round 3 stage, finishing off round 3 of the Crazyhouse World Championship. So Katask is already actually into round 5. But Zek against Pawn in Training is still to be played in round 3. King Switcher against Valandir is still to be played. So Blitzbullet is already through to round 5. Variance Only is facing up against Sume. What other big matches? Bugzilla against Lone Wolf will be a round 4 matchup. CIW against Orlando Gloom is a round 3 matchup still to happen. Fumitox. Fumitox got knocked out by 264 Brock, so he's in the elimination bracket. So 264 Brock in round 5. Also known as Cabbage on Discord. Mugwort against Morlock. That will definitely be a big one. And that's, yeah. And Alduto awaits perhaps the finisher, perhaps Avocat. Clearcast against Not Jan Lee in round 4. Joe Nakamura against Mini Great. I just saw a message saying that there was some scheduling problem. Okay, so that's the main bracket. There's of course all the elimination bracket matches as well. So let's go. Cross Online against Gingerbreadman17. Historically, Cross Online has a 2-1 lead. And I'm hearing peace sounds in the background. Of course, I had another match open. Okay, we're ready to go. Live action. I didn't realize Gingerbreadman17 actually has quite a big rating disadvantage against Cross Online. 1856 against 2184. So Pepper says, I have to go now, but I'll watch the video later. Thanks for covering and enjoy the games. Thanks, Pepper Lou. Hercules says, or Marlon says, I can't see a thing. I think they're just warming up. I think they were waiting for the clock hand, for the second hand to tick over to 1500 UTC or 1600 in the UK. And they're off. If people want to join, I could actually join Discord, and we could have I could join the Discord chat as well. We could have commentary. So we're having this line where you give up a piece and then win the piece back to just create some trouble. So straight away, black is piling up pressure on these light squares around the white king, and there's a slight also development issue in terms of white's queen side hasn't really developed yet. Yeah, thanks Chuck for the shout out. Yeah. So what did he do? He put a pawn on. Okay, so he could repeat this, and we could say it's a draw. I don't know why he doesn't do that. He could. Okay, that also works. Exploit the pin. But here I think black's doing quite nicely, so draw would be fine. White doesn't have, yeah. This square is actually under some control. The problem is if you ever take here, this file opens, and that's a very bad idea. I mean, you could block on h4, but it just looks like a bad idea. So, cross online in the tank. I mean, some kind of development was looking in order. Like getting the bishop out, getting the knight to here, maybe guarding f3. Hard to say. Is the picture not good? Is it okay for you, Chuck? I don't stream at the highest resolution because so white is trading a lot, and so that's a good idea if his king is safer, and it's sort of unclear. Like Blunderman says it's okay here. Okay, that's good to hear. I basically stream at quite a low level, but enough that hopefully it's okay for everyone. Because UK internet is not the best in the world. So we see interference idea here. He's trying to both interfere with the defense of the bishop and also perhaps put pressure on f3 and e2. Probably f3 is the bigger concern, because if the bishop's deflected from f3, that also weakens h3. Okay, and then there's the whole problem of this bishop, what to do with it. So, well, you could do this, but then the problem is that opens up the h-file. This is the dilemma. Oh, but he's just dropped the bishop, unfortunately. So he's probably hoping to do something like to pin the knight. Okay, he didn't do this. Hard to say. I'm going to go on Discord in case anyone wants to join me, and then let's see. That will sometimes reduces my quality, but internet quality, but it might probably improves the quality of the streaming. Ooh, so okay, so the queen trade has happened, and now what? We've got to watch out for these knight h3 check ideas at some point. Oh, so that's fallen for mate. So queen at g1 is checkmate. Was there anything else he could have done? Don't think so. So that's cross online takes game one. So while game two is loading and while Discord is loading, yeah. So we're going to saw it. Was there any defense to the interference, the very nice interference move that Cross Online found? Okay, well we'll stick with the live action. Okay, so this H pawn pushes seems to have been becoming popular lately. With Maya94 doing it earlier against Mugwort, Little Plotkin doing it in his match earlier as well. Just trying to throw a spanner in the works. Okay, so that's Discord just going to be opening up in the background. I'll just try and keep that to the side so it doesn't block our screen. Yeah, if anyone wants to join me, I'm going to join the House Party channel on Discord, if anyone wants to join the commentary. Okay, so if people join, I'll keep an eye out for that as well. So where do I put this? Put it here. So what do I think about this position? I mean, the thing about this h-pawn push, it does sort of destabilize. It's sort of destabilizing this position. The one thing is it does weaken g6. So as a strategy for white, I'd be looking at, could I ever get something going on g6? Because that's the square that gets slightly weakened because of this. Now, obviously here, h3 is a little bit weak. So this bishop is a very important piece for black. So I'd be definitely thinking in this position, how can I get rid of that bishop? Okay, so I like what. So the bishop takes c2. It's sort of gone and grabbed a pawn, but in some sense it's got a bit distracted from the action. So now there are potential ideas like bishop takes knight, knight at f7. And other things. If the king drops back to f8, there's knight takes e6, picking up the queen. Still, this bishop's doing a wonderful job guarding g6, by the way. So there was no like two knights and pawn mate, which would otherwise be interesting if the king stepped back. And there was no bishop. You'd have knight here, check, king here, pawn here would be checkmate. But okay, he gives up the queen. I don't know if that was necessary. And f2 is very well defended. So there's no h2. Well, there was never that anyway. So what can black do here? I guess he has to. White only has a queen. So there are ideas like takes, check, and knight here sort of ideas. So because this knight check is covered, but there are sort of here. So I guess that rook defending the king is quite a good way of guarding f7. This is definitely creative, and it just looks like it loses a lot of material. Like pawn takes knight. So the threat is at h2, so of course he takes back straight away. Okay. So he's bishop. Oh, I think this is slightly risky, but because there's bishop at h2 check. There's also pawn at h2 and rook here. Hang on a second. What? Pawn at h2, rook here, queen takes rook, pawn takes queen, double check, king here. Hang on a second. Cross on line. I think he's left something here. Pawn here, check, king here, rook here, takes the queen with a double check. So you have to go king takes. And now, oh yeah, just simple. He's found it quite faster than me. Just a simple back rank mate. Bishop and rook. Bishop and rook. Oh, my knight. Oh, wow. So nice. Okay. Really nice from Gingerbreadman17. Oh, it's from Why it was just taking a time to update. My connection is slow, I guess. Okay, I'm going to hang up from Discord since no one's joining me there, and just get back to concentrating on commentating myself. Okay, so because I had a slightly glitchy connection. So let's just play through game 3. So Cross Online is going for these pawn pushes. So Gingerbreadman17 said before the match that his aim was to, if Black can get a pawn, by the way, his aim was to win one game at least in this match, and so he's done that already. So congratulations for that. So White's position here is to Gingerbreadman's position is not very good structurally. It's sort of okay, so it's very compact around the king, but there are too many. So yeah, so this square, basically he's pushed this pawn too early before casting his king, so c2 is a weakness. The knight here check comes. He's had to give up the queen. Actually, it's not the end of the world, but he's had to give up a queen for a piece. It's not the end of the world, but it's not ideal. And now, if it were his move, pawn at e6 would be very interesting. These sorts of ideas. Maybe even here. Yeah, this. So pawn at e6. If you had two pawns, certainly, because you get another pawn here and a knight here, and you're making a lot of progress. So hitting these two squares was the priority. So a knight on f4 would have been interesting before Black got all his defenders defending all these light squares. And Blunderman1 correctly recognised in that last game, yes, pawn at h2 was the mating sequence. So, and I think Gingerbreadman saw it before I saw it as well. So, nice one. The advantage of a bishop is you can withdraw it with a discovery, but it could just be blocked on h3. So the beauty of the pawn is it was taking with check. So it was a double check. So it was very nice. It was just such a classic. Like if I were creating a how to back rank mate, like that was just a perfect example of how to back rank mate. If I were creating that study today, but I created that study in the past, but there'll be a round 2 sometime, and that should be added to the examples of back rank mate. So Gingerbreadman, you see how structurally his position was so bad, and yet he's just one move away from completely dominating this position. If he can ever get this move in, Black's bishop is just stuck. So Black would be playing down that piece. I don't know. I mean, he's kind of got it. He could just. Why not? It's very tempting. Why not just attack? Blunderman says, just happens all the time, just needing a pawn to keep the tempo. Yeah, always just keep, I would always say, just keep one pawn for an attack. All you need to attack is just one pawn. I was thinking just pawn here was good, but this actually is quite good because it means Black might have been hoping one day, oh, I plan to castle queenside, and this move is saying, you are never castling queenside. So again, I'm like, hats off to Gingerbreadman. I mean, he's playing, now I see this move, I'm like, gosh, that looks actually even better than what I was thinking. Because I was focused on this color complex here, but I'm thinking now, gosh, this is even better. Hi there, Abhijit. Indeed, lots of Crazyhouse World Championship matches today. There might even be some that are not even advertised. So yeah, a really strong move from Gingerbread. I'm so impressed. He's found the pawn drop I didn't recognize immediately. And hi there, Stephanie. Yeah, exciting matchup here. And this is like the strength of the bishop on the long diagonal. This is a beauty. Really he's playing to the strength of his pieces along this diagonal. And Cross Online has just gone into the tank. I mean, what do I do here? And I feel for him, actually. What do you do here? I mean, the queen is always defended, so if you take, you can always take back. It's just, that would be very sad. If it's going to come to that, that's very sad, because you'd get ideas of just pawn here, check, queen here, and so on. Okay, so pawn here, knight here is checkmate. So you'd have to take it, but if you take it, you're giving away the queen, and if you're giving away the queen, this is going to mate you. By assumption, I mean, I haven't calculated it. Okay, so does it mate you? So pawn here, knight here. Aha, the king is running out. No, it's not. The knight is defended. So that's it. Game over. Pawn here, knight here, queen here, mate. Let's see if he finds it. He's got a free rook on offer, but he shouldn't take it. He should go pawn here, check, knight here, check, queen here, checkmate. For a beautiful back rank mate. Another back rank mate. And he has a minute on the clock, so he's taking his time. It's good. Oh, he puts the queen on first. That doesn't work. I mean, it's still not bad. I mean, he's still got knight here, check, and then knight. Okay, interesting. Hadn't seen this one. And now he just needs a pawn. For pawn here will just be devastating. So even something like this, queen takes pawn, is actually devastating, because you'd threaten both queen here, and you'd threaten, which is mate, and you threaten pawn here, check, king here, pawn takes rook, checkmate. So he goes for the bishop. Okay, that also works actually, because of bishop here, check, and knight here, checkmate. So smart, actually, very smart. Okay, really nice. Hats off to Gingerbread Man. Wow. Yes, yeah, and Oppa said it. Takes f8. Yes. Yeah. Wow. Bishop at b7, knight at a6, mate, and that's what he played. Yeah, the forcing sequence. He found it. So he goes into the lead 2-1. And Cross Online spent 12 seconds and plays this move d3, which is interesting. Quite defensive setup from white. Yep, good find, says Oppa. So kudos to Gingerbread Man. Okay, so white tries to chase away this annoying bishop. Of course, takes, gets a powerful knight. So I guess if it were white's move, he would take, and then harass that queen, which would then have to rush back to defend c7. So that's the sort of threat. You want to really reinforce this square. He's being chased back, so it's the knights against bishops facing off. Okay, so knights make the first move. Oppa says, are links allowed? I have no idea, you've got to try. I'm not as good at Clearcast at how to, to manage, VIPs and all of this stuff. I have no VIPs, I'm not quite sure how they work. So just try them and hopefully they work. And if they don't work, then I'll try and figure it out for next time. Seems to work fine. So Oppa says, Pawn Cube games based on the last match. Yeah, there was a very interesting, one of the games between Maple Kev and, I don't know how to pronounce his name, his Dutch opponent, who has played very well. One of the games which Maple Kev won, the Dutch guy formed a couple of pawn cubes, one in front of his king and another one in the center of the board here. So it was like a genuine pawn cube. So I'll open up the Oppa link probably after the series. Take a look. So what do we see here? We see an incursion on the light squares. Yeah, so notice taking here advanced white's pawns into... Maybe he was forced to take, but if he wasn't forced to take, what he's done is he's allowed a light square incursion. Hard to say if this is going somewhere, but it's certainly something concerning because g6 is also very weak, and I don't know how to... not sure how he breaks it. And knowing cross online from previous games, I'm putting my money on him just sacking the queen at this point, but I'm not sure how good that is, but it's even an idea. I don't think it's good because knight here would surely follow. So yeah, this is very uncomfortable. What to do? I mean, can we ignore it? Not really. We don't really want to do this and have a queen trade when our king is so exposed. So Gingerbread Man is basically giving up pieces for pawns to try and liquidate the danger. Okay, so he really, cross online really wants to encourage this. Would there be a mate? It just seems too risky to even think about, though. But maybe let's try and calculate. Takes, if takes, rook takes, where would the mate be, just out of interest? Probably takes here, takes knight at h6, try and do something with that, knight takes bishop to follow if you take on h6. Okay, I mean, I'm struggling, but that sort of idea seems like it would work. In the meantime, black is collecting some nice armor of his own if he ever wants to launch a counterattack. Oh, yeah. Taking with the knight means... I feel like black's queen is going to get kicked about. He needs to... We're going to get a pawn here checked. So you capture the queen with check, if you can. So yeah, this is going to be a hard one. Still, good attempts at defense here. Cross online, I think, was overly worried by playing bishop d3. That was not strictly necessary. Again, this is just inviting a good defensive move which strengthens black's position. So bishop here was very strong. He just allowed queen takes pawn check. This is, I don't understand. And this is surely mate, just with something like knight here, rook takes pawn, king takes, queen here, check, would be checkmate. Am I mumbling? Probably. Knight here, check. Oh, we don't have a knight. Okay, ignore me. Did we not have a knight earlier? Okay, probably we didn't. So back in this position here, we had no knight. Okay, so it was just me being... yeah, I can't see the way in. That doesn't work. Just pawn takes pawn. Oh, he just allows this, so come on. Okay. And then there's another bishop. So knight takes rook, if you need to. Put a bishop on. I don't... Where's the mate? Knight here, check. Takes, and okay. Somehow, yeah, that wasn't the best, but what I'm not sure what I missed, but there was surely something cleaner at some point there. But yeah, as I think, as people say in the chat, all the while his king wasn't in too much danger anyway, as Gingerbread Man didn't have like a heavy piece or something. But I was thinking, surely there was something better. Okay, so while this game is so actually this was the first game. Just going back a second, I was wondering about after this move, was there some brilliant defense from White? And no, this is already very difficult for White, so there was nothing here. And this game here, was there some cleaner way of finishing it? At this point here, there was a mate in 4 with queen at f5 apparently, threatening simply queen takes bishop, and also threatening queen takes pawn. Okay, so it's like a double threat. And if you do something like rook e to d8, just to give yourself some luft here, and then queen takes knight is checkmate. So that was the clean finish, I guess. Okay, back to the current game. So this is a sort of strange structure that Gingerbread Man approaches. He doesn't really develop his queenside too much. Interesting, there's a threat of queen takes knight here and rook takes rook. Although it's incredibly dangerous, because queen here check would come. But it seems okay. I don't see the mate. It's just a bishop. Queen there check, you could just block. Queen here check, you can block. Opponent would need knights. If you don't have a knight, this is actually quite fun. Get in on the back rank, and if you have a lot, this is you could make something happen here. Does seem quite fun. I think I would go for it, but instead he's giving up a full queen, and I don't get that. And cross online is surely going to not fall for the bluff. He's just going to take the queen, no? Here, just step up. What have you got? Oh, okay, I shouldn't be so cavalier. Gingerbread Man has plans. He has plans. He has plans to mate me. Okay, I see. So yeah, actually there's quite a sneaky little move there from Gingerbread. He's got a knight and a queen, so can he do something with that? There is... Ah, there isn't. I wanted knight here, but this covers. Oh, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work, because you take with the pawn first. And then you take with the knight. And then you've given your opponent the knight, which that's what they needed. That was the one piece they need to mate you. It's just queen here, knight here is a kind of like a back rank mate kind of idea. So this is a disaster. This for Gingerbread. It was a kind of very interesting position, but it's just gone. It's gone. Oh, having said that, he did force him to use the queen, which is quite funny. To use the knight to block, but what he did in the process was that he used up his queen, so he had no blockers, had to go with the queen for blocking. So queen takes queen, knight takes pawn is interesting. That would be fun. With these sorts of ideas coming as well, if you ever go to a dark square, and if you go to a light square, then it's not so obvious. But you might just go and pick up the rook and say I'm happy. Okay, I see. This is a very interesting move. Tries to pick up another piece of material. Yes, that's interesting. Oh, that is interesting. So bishop takes knight. He has to take with the knight, and then he has stuff like a knight check if he wants it. Oh well, he can still go queen takes queen though. Queen takes queen. He can swing back with the knight. That can't be taken. He did it with the wrong knight, surely. Surely you do it with the other knight. Hang on. If you do it with the other knight, check, king here, queen here, check. No, queen here check doesn't work because of knight here and he runs away. But I was hoping for rook here and then knight there, smother. So knight here check looks really interesting. If he goes there, it's just mate. If he takes, it's mate on here. And if he goes here, there's surely a mate. You go queen here. Okay, the problem is knight takes, and then I can't see the finish. But okay, the finish came with this knight takes to here. Okay, so this also worked. Was there any way of him running the other way? If he'd run to e1, if he runs to e1, you can have knight. Okay, I'll open it up. Okay, so I'm just not quite fast enough at seeing these mates. But I'll just open up the final position to show you what I mean. So, okay, so here, 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 here. So what I was saying is that this one I'm sure is checkmate. And the mate goes like so. It goes knight c2, king f1. Fortunately we have some diagonals in hand, so we need these. King takes g2. And then you come back. And if king comes out, bishop here even is checkmate. So you better take it. But by taking it, you've cleared a way for my queen, which then checkmates. Okay, so that was the correct way to mate, as it were. This way, he could have just gone to g1 and been very safe. But by taking, he ran into a mate in 4, which should have gone like this. This, king takes, queen at g2, king here, and diagonal to mate. But he just made it a little bit too easy in the end by running this way and getting mated in a more straightforward way. Okay. Okay, so back to the current game. Cross online is now 3-2 up, and again playing this very defensive opening as white. Well, I don't know, it feels slightly defensive. This keeping your bishop on e2 is something you often do as black. So normally as white you put your bishop on c4 and you go for f7 and stuff, but it's all reasonable. Yeah, sorry, I missed the live lines upper. So again, unfortunately for Ginger, he's allowed this. Was there no way of avoiding it? You see, sometimes it's better to keep the tension. I mean, if you can. Because if white takes, you then get an advanced pawn in his half of the board, and you can then start hitting on e3. Whereas if you take, then okay, it's your move, but he gets the more advanced. So he's going to, white's just trying to kick away the defender. This is actually a bad move, because you should just take pawn here, and black is safe forever. Oh no. Oh no. This is very sad. Because this knight is just never going to see the rest of the game. It's just never going to see the rest of the game. Okay, I mean, he should be glad even that white offered him to give away that knight for a pawn, because it was never going to see the light of day for the rest of the game. It was just completely on the wrong side of the board and had no squares to go to. Whereas if you just take, if you use it as the defensive piece and take here, takes pawn here, He probably does this, and then tries to save his knight. But your king is safe enough on h7. There's nothing. And you've cleared away the light square, the pawn which was bugging you. But it's okay, so he's now just got a pawn for it. And that light square is still bugging. So this is too comfortable, unfortunately. You can't really take this knight very easily. Because white has too many knights in hand. Dark squares are quite well defended, to be fair. But would this be a move, even? I think this would even be a move if you took. No, it wouldn't be, because bishop takes. I'm just being... Yeah. So the knight's probably going to come back. Okay, this is inviting the queen into the action. I think the queen will join with pleasure. Because if you notice, there are no pawn drops or bishop drops that really harass this queen anyway. So it's it will enjoy joining the action. So we see here check. If anyone's a mod and can help out, then with the chat, then please do. Okay, so the rook is pinned, so it's just trying to get in sound, because the bishop, if you take the bishop, you just take back, and you save the queen. So bishop takes rook. Okay. I haven't used this platform for so long. I can't remember how to do anything on it. What do you type to make someone a mod? It's not /mod, is it? It's what is it? It's .mod or? Yeah, thanks, Panthermonium. I'm just not sure what the... Okay, I tried that, it didn't seem to work, so... Okay, did that work? So... Apparently you're already moderators on my channel, so... There we go. So I just made Abhijit and Pathadine, aka Afghala, mods on the channel. No, I don't require anything of my mods, just okay. So a fun move here was knight here, check. Yeah, so this is actually really good. I mean, how does he defend? He just has to kind of give up a queen or something. Put a queen. I mean, this is a really great attack. You got queen takes, and then you can dump a rook here, and if queen takes rook, knight here, check, and you pick up the queen. So this is a nasty little attack he's got going, and this just doesn't work. No, this doesn't work. Takes. What are you planning? Pawn here. Wow, I mean, Gingerbread Man, you know how to defend. This is impressive. And now how on earth am I going to defend this rook? Just, there's nothing here. Yeah. And resigns. Oh my goodness. That felt like a comeback and a half. 3-3. I was too distracted to really enjoy that game, which I feel bad about. I think Cross Online was doing fine, even so. I'm not looking at the engine obviously at the opening because I think it's important for the integrity of the game that we don't look at the engine as a streamer. I mean, this was horrid, and I'm not going to look at the engine, but anyway. But I sometimes look at the engine in like endgame position. So here, see, White's doing really nicely, and then this counter attack comes. So here, surely there must be something killing here. I mean, look at these four bishops doing their best to defend, but you can't really defend. Look, so knight here, check, king here. Maybe there isn't anything completely obvious. So he did something. This was reasonable. Takes, and then did knight here, check, takes. Yeah, this is really impressive though. So the correct. I'm going to look here. The correct defense. Cross Online is still doing fine here. I'm sure. Yeah, the correct. Well, not fine, but the problem is the move I just suggested. Something like rook here. And if you take the rook, you're completely losing because of knight e2 picking up your queen. And if you don't take the rook, you're putting down some. If you don't take the rook, you put some piece down in the way, and your position just looks stupid. You could have stuff like knight at d2 or bishop at d2, and you get a stupid-looking position. You're putting all your pieces on your back rank. So was there a better suggestion? So actually, yeah, at this stage, Black was fine. I mean, that's just amazing defense from Black. This was the critical mistake. Ignoring. Yeah, just ignoring. You can't ignore these sorts of things. You can't ignore them. Yeah. So 3-3, very exciting. And back to the live action. Cross Online. Again, with these h4 pushes, you see how these just destabilized. So this bishop can never come out this way because Gingerbread Man puts his bishop here, but he's okay with this because he puts his bishop on b2 anyway. But you see how e3 is a little bit unstable. Okay, so throws in a check. He takes his bishop. So a wild-looking position, but there's knight takes pawn check, and this is looking a bit hairy because another knight could be landing. So if you go step back, this pawn here takes, and knight here, step back here, and pawn here would be mate. Maybe you need 2 pawns for this, but looks like you're getting 2 pawns away from getting mated here. And oh yeah, Black is. That's what I'm saying. Black is doing well here. It's probably I read a comment from a while back. If you imagine you had 2 bishops, a bishop here and a bishop here, that wouldn't quite be mate, but so bishop here would be very close to mate. Okay, but we don't have bishops, so we have to concentrate on what we have. Something like a pawn here, knight here, and a pawn here is mate. So you have to try and think of what are the patterns we can see. Okay, pawn here, of course you can take it, but you can also go king takes knight, which is a bit of a miss. But he's got this and takes this. He's got this. Are there any sneaky ideas involving picking up the queen with check? Okay, this is interesting. I think that king is getting away though. You could go queen here check. That saves the queen with check. That's nice. Oh, that's actually very nice because that's just checkmate. Yeah, there's no defense. So that was a. Oh. Okay, it wasn't checkmate. Of course, you don't need to take it. You could just run. Okay, I'm really impressed by Gingerbread Man's defense here, actually. And he's got counter-attacking ideas. I mean, he's got crazy ideas like knight here check and then taking the rook, and Black's king is not looking that safe. He's going to be very safe back on Yeah, the king's been allowed to get away, actually. King is suddenly castled on the queen side. Snug. Okay, knight here check is tempting. What other? Because then you're in on the back rank, it's sort of hard to defend. You'd have knight here check as a threat, bishop here check as a threat. So I quite like this knight here check idea. He just goes and takes the rook. Feels a bit slow. Okay, so now he's just simply defending this square. But oh, that doesn't quite work, but it's interesting because you've got knight takes, pawn takes, knight, and then you'd have another knight in hand. But he could be thinking of rook takes bishop, which threatens knight here. Rook takes knight was then a possible response to defend both this square and this square. So we got a crazy position, basically. But okay, knight here is on to bring the knight back. Takes, knight takes. Maybe it's too wasteful, but maybe I think this looks dangerous because there's that's rook at a1 is always an idea. King there, and then okay, he doesn't have anything to follow up. Is the problem? That's very close. I think even this is safe. But it looks risky. He's only got 5 seconds to go. Needs to play fast. He's got to always watch out for that rook a1 idea. But instead, he's going for something very direct. This check. And also that knight actually covers any rook a1 idea. Interesting, interesting. Is there a back rank? He had to take it, but then rook at a1 was nice. Then knight takes rook. Oh, this is also nice. Takes, and black is lacking a pawn for here. And there's always, as a last resort, queen takes pawn if he absolutely needed it. So amazing defense from Gingerbreadman with 4 seconds on the clock. And this is a tight match, 3 games all. So it's very exciting. Again, rook at a1 just doesn't do anything. Here, bishop takes pawn, king here, and then he needs like a knight or something. So if he goes rook takes knight, that's a very tempting move to do, because then that would be threatening mate. With rook at a1, king takes, bishop takes pawn, king here, and knight here is checkmate. So rook takes knight is a mate threat. So very tempting. He doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. He probably sees another mate threat. And Gingerbreadman flags, which is incredibly sad, because that wasn't, well, wasn't the end of the world, I don't think. So from his, yeah, so he's completely winning, even just queen takes rook. I was thinking rook takes a8. Yeah, rook takes a8, the move I said. And black is winning because of this mate threat of rook at a1. But in this position, yeah, there are 2 moves, either rook check or just hand away the queen. And the reason for this is because simply there are too many attacks. I was thinking knight here, knight here. That knight check doesn't quite work. Apparently knight here check works. They're just this square is not defended is the problem. So if you go back here, I don't see it. So apparently there's pawn here check, bishop takes pawn, maybe then a rook check. I see. So you kind of get rid of the defender. If the king goes the other way, then you have knight takes bishop check, king here. So that's the kind of idea. And then you have another rook in hand for rook at e8 check. So that would have been the mating idea. So in the final position. But instead, Cross Online takes a 4-3 lead. And yeah, Oppa saw it, of course. Nice one, Oppa. And we have this one again. So remember, the power piece in the position is this bishop. So the bishop shouldn't go grabbing this pawn even, I don't think. Even though it's very tempting. I mean, it can go grab the pawn if black needs a pawn, but it's got wonderful ideas with h3 as well as guarding g6. Okay, if it comes back, then So Oppa said, the only black idea left was queen at a1. Bishop takes b2 check and pawn c2 mate, but it's white to move. After takes b4. Yeah, after takes b4, he has a queen in hand. Yep. So he has queen at a1 check, bishop takes b2, and c2 mate. Yes. I didn't know he had a pawn though. He didn't have a pawn in hand. So if he had a pawn in hand, then he could go c2 mate, but he didn't even have a pawn. Hi there, Zaraza. Zaraza. I've got to get it right. I'm just too used to calling you the wrong name. Zaraza. And hi there, Leper01. Or how do you pronounce that? Oh, takes b2, of course, you get a pawn on b2. Yes, of course. When you take b2, you get a pawn. I forgot this. So while I was chatting away, something happened. So this is all very stable, and I was saying how this was a power piece, but it shouldn't maybe grab this pawn just yet. But instead we had a big trade on here, and okay, something very interesting happened. Pawn at h3, I like it. So what's the idea? Takes. Oh my goodness. He takes the queen, and he just... I am flabbergasted. Wow, this is just amazing. Okay, I didn't see that coming at all. I mean, that's just genius from Gingerbread. Wow, he's on fire. 4 games all. Game 9. I mean, I liked that h3. I just didn't see the trickery behind it. Okay, so we see Cross Online gearing up for this stuff. And wow, they're just insta-moving. And looks like Gingerbread Man is trying to play quickly this game. Okay, this is interesting because doesn't it just give away a pawn? Takes, takes, takes. Okay, so a lot of stuff happening, and at the end of it all, White still has a bishop hanging. He has a check, but doesn't seem to lead anywhere. And also Black is threatening this, so White has got a lot of stuff to deal with. And Symphony says, "How is Gingerbread only 1800?" I know, he's just been playing like he's been playing, awesome. He said, "I'm also 1800, but I surely can't win a game in this match." I can't. Yeah, he's just been playing awesome. I guess he's been training in secret, right? So defends e2, but the bishop is hanging. So this is looking slightly painful on the material front. I mean, I think since Black is 2 pawns up materially, still White's king is moderately safe for now. But that's a lot of pawns to be down, because 2 pawns means 2 pawns more and 2 pawns less. So that's these 2 pawns Black has, more than his opponent, but also an extra 2 pawns in hand. That's going to hurt. That's going to hurt. So if White is going to have to make headway, he's going to have to find a weakness to pick holes at himself. And that's the thing about pawns. Pawns are great at opening up weaknesses. So this pawn here, for example, if you take it, you're going to weaken up, you're going to weaken up g3, and if you don't take it, it might even just push. Pretty smart. He recognized the threat wasn't takes, it was actually push. And here we could just go for a draw. I'd be very happy with a draw. Just takes, takes, and replace. go for a draw and please try and win the next game. But of course, cross online doesn't want to draw in this position. Okay, interesting. He's got plans. He's got plans. Okay, the plans didn't last long because he had to defend. He was under check. So defending like crazy. There's no weakness in black's position. This is the thing. I don't see a way in. Yeah, this is like, can we get back to that old idea of getting a knight here and a knight here and coming in? But unfortunately, he has to continue defending because rook here was a threat. But that's okay. Now, is there a tactic? Does pawn here work? No. Rook here check, or we can just block. He does with the bishop, which is smart. This is a slightly weak tender square here. So if black had 2 pawns, he's got loads of pawns. You go pawn, pawn. So this is a tender square to watch out for. So if you see anything that both attacks this square, then that would be really a way into here. Yeah, I'm not sure if rook was the best, but okay. This, I mean, may not be the best, but it will do. Harassing the queen. I think it's a fork of the knight and the rook, and he goes, I'm going to defend my kingside. Bam. Yes, he's lost more material. And he's letting his queen get harassed, so that means black puts on stuff with tempo. Okay, this is cross online knows what he's doing in this sort of position. Gingerbread Man is good at defending, but he's not that good. Okay, do we take the rook or the bishop? Probably the rook. Rook makes sense. Simply rook takes, knight takes bishop. Now rook takes bishop and deliver a mate. White has no pieces left on the board. Oh my goodness. Cross online. Go for the kill. Okay, knight takes bishop. Knight takes bishop, forces king takes. You know what a fun move would be in this position? Would be this. Because you go knight takes bishop, king takes, and then queen takes pawn. Boom. I mean, it's like your whole game, you're not using the queen anyway, are you? So you're playing the whole game with queen down. I don't need my queen. So it'd be quite a fun way to finish the game. Yeah, anything wins, basically. Queen lands, bishop lands, rather, and then where's the finish? I tell you, you should just get this queen in. It's so much simpler. Okay, so this knight is doing a nice job trying to ward off mate, but mate comes in the end. So cross online goes 5-4 ahead and has white in game 10. So what move number offer in the line you were saying? Hi there, Bakus. Yeah, so Marlon joined in game 10 of the Clearcast stream earlier today, where we saw Mugwort against Maya94 and Maple Kev against Dutch guy whose name I can't pronounce, called Sherd or something. And Bakus, you've joined in game 10 of the match today that I'm streaming. Well, the Clearcast follow-on stream. Clearcast does all the hard work with the tough matches. So this, just to kind of recap this one, it's been a slightly different opening because Cross Online, he normally plays d4, but in this match against Gingerbreadman17, he's actually played e4, d3. But I think he's a d4 player. So Gingerbreadman17 has actually broken through on d3, so he's doing very nicely as black. And you see how there are big holes in white's position. So black is doing very nicely indeed. Very, very nicely. Just needs to develop. Gingerbreadman needs to get used to getting his queenside pieces out as well, not just his... Ah, they're out. His pieces are out now. Okay, watch out. Gingerbreadman pieces are out. He's ready. He's ready to really start now. Shored. Okay. So what happened? Was there a sack there? Yes, it was a sack. A sack for 2 pawns. It looks legit. I mean, it looks still fairly level. But notice how this knight is eyeing f6. So at h6 would be an interesting idea. Probably queen goes back to d8 just to keep an eye on f6, but then you could still get h6 coming with the idea of if you take, then pawn here, knight takes, knight takes. Not sure. Just ideas. So instead it was this and this. I mean, he could just be greedy. Black is doing fine here. It's just, yeah, why not? Rook takes. Marlon says, what a match. Marlon says, run, run as fast as you can. You can't mate me. I'm the gingerbread man. Yeah, he's good at... oh, no, 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 no. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. Oh, come on. Just rook takes and black is so solid. There was no need for this. Okay, but Cross Online like missed a trick here, surely, because... Yeah, I mean, okay, it's very tempting to go bishop takes g7 here and just wreck. Okay, you get wrecked yourself. Okay, it's really double-edged. Okay, it's really double-edged what he was doing, but he decided to go for it. I mean, he's really going for it. I mean, respect for going for it. A knight here is coming, potentially, but I would just get safe first. Like, white's position is actually weak. Yeah, get safe. Yeah, excellent. And now black's just winning. I mean, how do you defend this light square color complex? You could even do some stuff like drop a pawn here, and if takes, bishop here. And then you're threatening either knight here or knight here, checkmate. So just pawn here, and you're threatening knight here, king here, pawn takes, queen check. So pawn here is incredibly powerful. Oh, no need to just... I guess, so was he worried about rook at h8? Rook at h8, takes, and yeah, maybe there was something there, but I don't think there was anything. So, pawn here. Let's go. See, this is good too, but we need pawn here and bishop here. Offer says pawn at g7 to be super safe. The problem with this is this, but actually it doesn't work because of this. So actually this is pretty neat as well. Pawn at g7 to be super safe. Yeah, because otherwise you might get ideas like rook at h7 takes, pawn here, king takes, knight here, check. And if there was a second knight, it would be dangerous. And Marlon says, oh no, he gave Cross a knight instead of bishop at f4. Only one knight though, so one knight can't kill you. Because this check is guarded. So one knight can't kill you. The threat is knight here and then a second knight landing. Knight takes and then the second knight landing here. And if ever... this doesn't work. This just straight doesn't work. You don't even have to take it, but you can just take it. Oh my goodness, why... You could have just taken it though, right? And then even at this point, you can still... Oh, I see, at this point, he's threatening queen takes bishop. So, okay. Now it's looking hairy, but it's still only one... Yeah, I'm worried now. Here. Yeah, I think I'm a bit worried now. Rook here, check, king here. Bishop here, check, king here, and knight here, checkmate. Okay, so it's all over. Yeah, something went wrong. Okay, so if king takes bishop, rook here is checkmate. That's a problem. So you have to step back. But now pawns mate you. That's mate. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So Oppa had some advice. the G file, I think Oppa means, had to be closed. So even here, black's completely winning, but has to be accurate. Even king takes is completely fine because white does not have two knights. But after this, then there is a mate. Yeah, so here, try and make it more difficult for your opponent with a move like knight t5 or something. But once the e file is open, you're making, yeah, try and block a check if you can. Just block it. At d7, okay, so there's still a mate with knight at c5, and if you hear, it's the same old mate. And if you step back, the problem is there's pawn mates. So the problem was in this position, not going at g7, not taking just one move out to defend here, was actually critical. That's unfortunate. So Promoter's check was a blunder because there was something. No, this was fine. Apparently knight at e7, knight takes, and then was even more was equally interesting because then you have back rank issues. Rook at d8 blocks, and you probably have to block with the knight, right? And then what you do is you just go pawn here, check, king here, and then you take that knight and mate. And if you block with the queen, that doesn't help much either. Same pattern. Okay, but just going back to this position here. So even here, this is fine. I was thinking just here, just at f3, bishop here, which actually the computer likes as well. And then here, yeah, I'd have taken this actually, because knight h5. You can allow even knight takes here. Just step back at g7. Oh, okay, I didn't notice that. He gets to mop up this, which I didn't notice. Okay, and then you have to try it all over again. Okay, so it's a bit more complicated. But see, these light squares around the white king should have been the death of white, but somehow he managed to swindle it. So with that, Cross Online takes the 6-4 win. But Gingerbread Man, what a match! Congratulations in really making that close. Yeah, so I just saw you said Officer's got to go. Good evening. Yep, see you. And Zarazar of the Brain. Okay, Zaraza says there's another match happening, which I should. Yeah, let's try and cover this. Let's try and copy that link. And there were other things I wanted to talk about. What were they? I think I deleted them now. And this was something, Oppa, just want to quickly share this. This is Oppa against Stockfish level 8. He just played this today, inspired by a game from this year's, just to get the game earlier with Maple Kev. So what he's doing is He's just bullying Stockfish, basically. And then, having bullied Stockfish, he's going to try and take all its pieces, I guess, like he normally does. I should turn this board round. Let's just turn this board round and start again. Okay, so how does he do it? He does the bishop e7 line. He plays theory a little bit. He gets his weakness on g2. And he's going to plug away on g2, basically, is he? Yeah, he gets in on g2, and he's starting to take pieces. And Stockfish is just desperate to defend, so will give up pieces in order to defend. Okay, fair enough. And so Stockfish is down to his last two bishops. But Oppa's greasy, he's going to eat up everything. And what's he going to do? He's going to start building something. There you go. Oppa's built his 4 cubes and delivers checkmate. Okay, very fun. Okay, so back to serious stuff. Duvid says he's predicting a win for Crazy 8. I'll look from the perspective of garnek123, who has participated in previous versions of the Crazyhouse World Championship. So he's a well-known Crazyhouse player. What else have I missed? Oh, hi there, Gingerbread Man. Nice find to mate from cross at the end. Was a long one. Yeah, it was a bit of a swindle. It shouldn't have been allowed. Because his king was so weak. You just needed to just do like take out one move to defend and you were good. Very close match, says Marlon. Baku said, Black's problem is he tried to hang on to his pieces. Good game, though. Pethidine says the F key flips the board. Yeah, I should note that, shouldn't I? So F, nice. Yeah. So if you'd calculated there wasn't any mate, then it was fair enough. But it just needed careful calculation that he didn't have anything. And then if he didn't have anything, he was dead. You know, with the queen here, with just all his light squares so exposed. So Crazy 8 apparently has already taken the first game. Okay, that's interesting. So since we're looking from Garnek's perspective, let's see how Garnek loses the first game. And Duvid, predicting the upset, he's... And then my thing freezes. Black timeout, what? What? Okay. Okay, that's... Okay, so... Yeah, I guess this position looks uncomfortable. Like, obviously, if the knight takes... I shouldn't have the engine on, it's too early in the opening. If the knight takes, then bishop here check is uncomfortable. If the pawn takes, the problem is still bishop takes knight. And if queen takes, there's bishop here check, king here, knight here check, pawn takes, knight here check, mate. So these sorts of ideas. So he'd probably just fed up, had enough of this game. So Crazy 8 takes game 1. Okay, interesting. So let's go to game 2, where I'm just looking at this position and it looks completely awful as well. So Crazy 8 looks well prepared. I play this as black. Just go in. The right thing to do, by the way, here. Yeah, I shouldn't say that kind of thing, but the thing to do as white is develop quickly. David says something about prep for black, easy path to even game for black, and wins for white, recipe for victory. Whatever that means. Oh, Garnek's a very good player. So what's gone wrong? Okay, so first thing, this is the first thing that's gone wrong. D4, not D3. Keep control on this square. And in fact, the right move is D4. I don't know. I'm not sure if I should say that during a live match, so I won't say anything else. Okay. Legion Destroyer said, did they agree to just play bullet from move 10? It is weird. Yeah, they're both spending a long time on the opening. And Duva says, don't think either player here is especially quick. So knight takes knight. This is a kind of confusing situation. So they're both in time trouble, under 30 seconds. Okay. I'm slightly... So the idea is he wants knight f6, I guess, but he's still got one knight. Yeah, they're both playing fast. That's hitting the queen. What's the queen going to do? He throws in a check. Okay. Is this ever a thing? Takes. Is that ever a thing? That's a bad idea. That has to be a bad idea. Yeah. So do you promote or do you put a rook? This is a question. This just has to be bad. I think rook was stronger than promoting, but there should still be a mate somewhere here. Except how the king is still running to here. But what actually happened? What? He took the knight. Oh my goodness. How is he still living? I mean, there's bishop here, check, but which is threatening knight takes queen, by the way. And black's used up his queen in defense. Okay, just don't flag Garnek, and he should be good this one. Blunderman will share your thoughts on the hourly tournaments drama. I mean, there are not that many variants on Lichess, so can't we just have a variant? Can't we have every variant every hour? It's not that much. Doesn't seem like a big deal. Oh, this is just funny. Just, yeah, this is just, I'm just gonna, yeah, okay, nicely done, nicely done. And Bonnerman says, I tried listing some constructive thoughts today in the general development channel of Lichess, but I only got comment about my tone. And Zaraza says, drama? This is a tragedy. So the flip side is if there aren't as many arenas, I've noticed, you might get more players making challenges in the lobby, because usually the lobby is very quiet for Crazyhouse. So there can also be a good side of things, in that if players who are interested in games start challenging more in the lobby, you could get more lobby games on offer. So that could be a positive result. It's just, yeah. So the advantage of tournaments is you get a chance to play with people, some of whom are much stronger than you and some of whom are much weaker than you, and without any kind of, you don't have to talk to anyone, and it's just like, you can just pop in, pop out. Whereas if you're setting up a series with someone, you kind of feel bad, if I leave after one game, they'll be upset with me, and that kind of thing. So it's more, so playing a lobby match, it feels more like you need to be more committed in a way. Whereas in a tournament, you're not. I used to continuously play tournaments without paying any attention to actually playing the tournament. I'd just enter a tournament to play a few games. So, yeah, I think it would be nice if. Yeah, I think it's. I mean, also the people you feel bad for are people like Metin48, who would literally be playing in like 6 hours a day in the arena tournaments. So it's kind of unfair for people like that, who are so committed and like. So notice this is what Clearcast said. He allows takes once, and if repeat, then he f6, and the position of the queen is improved. So these two players both FMs. I know that Garnek is from. Oh, we're saying something creative here. Knight takes pawn. What's the idea? If you take it, Garnek is from Poland, I believe. Yeah, and Crazy8 is from Israel. Okay, I didn't know that. And Marlon says, or people like Shura who can only play at lunchtime. Yeah, so Shura I'd never even come across. Because they play at a very specific time. So, yeah. Whereas Metin48 is like, when I was playing at like 2 a.m. in the morning, yeah, he'd still be playing at 2 a.m. in the morning, and it must be like 3 a.m. in Turkey, or 4 a.m. So, I'm going to just kind of recap. So, how is this game going? What do I think? It's a very very congested. You could even see ideas of takes, pawn here being... They're not good, but I'm just saying they're lurking. That's why he did this, is because once that was reinforced, that suddenly became a threat, in a way. And so that's why he did this. Takes, and then this move I don't understand. It looks like it's just giving up a piece. So I don't get that move. So I feel like black has... I think white got impatient, and you have to be a little bit patient in this sort of opening. So here's just a little trick to open up the king. You should probably, if you just do this, you just wins a piece. So that's a very nice little trick. And if you take it, then you still win the piece, but at the end of it, the white king is a little bit open. So nice trick from black. He was already doing well, and he finds this nice little trick. And of course, the third trick is if queen takes, bishop takes, and he wins the piece. Hang on a second. That way he doesn't win the piece. Yeah, that way he doesn't win the piece. It's just an exchange. So it took me a while to figure that out, but then it took an FM in Crazy8 a while to figure it out as well. So Gingerbreadman says, knight takes d5 is wild. I mean, it's a little bit speculative. It's trying to make some weaknesses, but you see this is a good thing, actually. So it's ended up okay. So he was hoping maybe if this is weak or it creates some weaknesses, but with this exchange has only helped strengthen. Okay, so then knight f3 is really nice. He takes. Notice the queen is doing defensive work, so that's good. He's probably going to be thinking about... And the knight's even doing defensive work, so great setup. Bishop here or bishop here. And he's got 3 bishops, so you can lay them on. Now he's just going straight in, and let's just try and understand that move. That's very brave. What's the idea? I don't get it. So is he hoping for this, and then you have a knight check picking up the queen at the end? That would be too brave, surely. Because there could be dangerous mate threats. Knight here check, I guess you can take. So yeah, it seems like black is very safe. So even that was an idea. So queen takes pawn, what was the idea? Probably just bishop here. But hard to say. Maybe someone in the chat can tell me. Bishop at d5, knight e2. Yeah, maybe just simply bishop at d5. Probably queen would come here. Okay, so very nice play. The problem with bishop at h3 in this position is you can just take and replace. So, but Garnek's not even allowing that. He's but if takes, he doesn't. You probably want to take back, don't you? Yeah, this doesn't work because you've got rook takes. So I don't see what he's trying to do. Rook takes. Pawn takes, and then bishop takes bishop. And if he goes here, takes, but it's my move now. Unless I'm missing something. So takes. Oh. then just simply this, and bishop here. Oh, this is very easy. So he's going to have to put a bishop back defending. Okay, well, this, you could just take the rook, just repeat. Notice all the while queen is defending, it's so solid. Takes. Yeah, and in time pressure. Yeah, so nothing working in white's favour here. Okay, sneaky move. Knight here. Knight here is a sneaky move. Or bishop here. Bishop here. Threaten rook here, and then also go bishop takes pawn. Okay, that is a sneaky move. How do you defend against that, right? That's a move you won't... Yeah. If you play that, then they'll say you're an engine. Because that's a really sneaky move. Knight here, takes, pawn here, and you're done. Bishop, pawn, bishop, and you're in. Okay, so he's still trying to hang on in there. Again, these sorts of ideas are really strong, just trying to block out the rook from the back rank, and incredibly hard to defend against. Oh, he's threatening rook at h2, and boom. So that's also fun. he's just still hanging on in there, isn't he? They're hard to beat, these FMs, because he recognises if pawn takes, the rook lands, and he's open. Black's just going to take all the pieces. Okay, he has mate now. Rook. Oh no, he defends the mate again. He was going for knight, bishop, rook here, knight takes, knight at f2, and it's defended again. So he's just literally just going to take all these pieces. And Crazy 8's just not going to get beaten. Yeah, eventually. Gosh, this guy's hard to beat, right? Gingerbread Man, why can't rook take? It can, but then you've cleared away the back rank defender, right? If you go rook takes, knight takes, you've cleared away the back rank defender. And he's just got another minor piece. He's got no rooks for the back rank. Yeah. So you put a knight here, bishop here, the rook's blocked off here. You can take, but takes, and now he's out of rooks. He has no rooks, no queens. So he has no major pieces to defend his back rank. So he can defend his back rank with minors, with bishops and knights and so on. But rooks have the power of defending all of the squares along the back rank, whereas knights and bishops only have the power of blocking. So it's a, yeah. So Garnek made to work hard for his bread that game, and we see this again. h3, no. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the opening, but h3 is not the move in this position. So clearly we can see from this, Garnek is not well prepared in the opening. I'm not saying h3 is terrible, but it's just not. It isn't the right move. This knight is going to come and sack on g2 at some point. I mean, yeah, the knight's coming to sack on g2, so g3 is never going to be the worry. The worry is always going to be f3, and h3 does give h2 for the king, so that was his purpose. It's not entirely foolish. The point here is, of course, the classic trick. If you take, knight here picks up your queen, and it's game over. So if you do go takes, you have to go king takes, and then black just develops his pieces and laughs at your king at the middle of the board. He doesn't even necessarily try and mate you. He just develops while you desperately try and fix your position by running back and fixing. Okay, so Crazy 8 going in for the kill. This and this, or with knight here. Very annoying, because if you go here, knight here. So so knight here is a bit of a threat. If you go here, then you just simply take this pawn, threatening mate. Okay, so nothing completely concrete that I can see just yet, but I think that was a, yeah. I think Garnet is figuring it out. Yeah, because if takes, yeah, I don't see anything. And if the immediate knight here check, yeah, the immediate knight here check was the most worrying move. Here, yeah, then black's not sure what to do. So I'm still thinking white is fine, by the way. But maybe I'm missing something. But okay, I mean, I don't see this. This seems crazy because really, you're going to give your knight away with check. And then there's even ideas of queen takes pawn, queen. No, there aren't. Sorry, the square is covered by the bishop, and even this square. I was thinking there was some crazy knight forks, but they're not because the bishop's actually covering everything. So, is white okay? I think white's okay, but I thought king g1 was safer. But maybe I'm wrong. If you'd done king g1, queen takes pawn would have come. And then what would have white done? Was the threat of pawn takes knight and queen h2 mate. So maybe pawn here, king here. So I'm not sure how that goes. So it'll be interesting. I sort of think it's too close to the opening. I wouldn't even want to look at it after the game. I'd have to look at it after the whole series. And Divi Varun says, why not bring the rook to g1? And Gingerbread Man has an extra dark squared bishop to cover an attack. It was check, I think. Just knight c to e5. So when to put the rook on e1? So here's, yeah, rook g1 here maybe, possibly. But then there's queen takes pawn is the problem. So that's not possible then. Okay, so takes, knight here attacking the queen. Ouch, ouch. Yeah. So we're attacking the queen and we're threatening a pawn here, check, and also threatening the bishop. I'd have much rather the king was away on g1, but of course this would come. And we have to... So I'd prefer to like a defense on g2, h2. I don't want to stay away from f3. So what happens here? Notice this bishop's just hanging, by the way. This is really smart. This bishop's hanging, even from the queen. So you can forget this bishop. This bishop's a goner. Oh. Okay. That's brave. So 2 queens. Can you do anything with 2 queens? Black is just going for it. And BK Bridge 14 says the problem is that white doesn't even have an attack yet. White's trying. I don't see a mate for black either, just yet. Like, queen takes pawn doesn't go anywhere, I don't think. So, because this bishop does a marvelous job defending everything. So just uses a rook. Okay. Okay, this is sneaky. Wasn't there some plan? Whoa, whoa, whoa. I was sure he had some sneaky attack there. Ah, but now knight here is mate. Isn't it? King here. How can this not be mate? So the plan is knight takes pawn, and then checkmate. No, but I'm sure white had mate there. Look, that is insane. In this position here, so black is completely winning, and I understand that. But after this move, yeah, I was thinking white's completely winning now. Pawn at e7, king to g7, and I was wondering if there's some mate with. No, there's no like promote to knight or something on the light squares, but there's simply bishop takes queen. And if the king goes back to h8, okay, apparently queen at g3 is the move. Rook takes g3, bishop takes g3. And black has two queens, but there are too many holes and it's impossible to defend everything. So, yeah, white was completely winning for the briefest of moments there. Okay, one shouldn't be asking for analysis, if possible, until after the match, but white was winning at the end there. But I realise actually that because these are title players, Lichess automatically asks for analysis, unfortunately. So I have to ignore that. So good for Crazy 8 because he ties the match up 2-2 indeed. So this position here, f6 seems interesting. Takes, push here, bishop here. Oof, these light squares are kind of weak, aren't they? Because what are you planning on? Takes, bishop here, maybe we still survive. And that's what they're thinking about. And let's just check the chat. Yeah, knight to d8, I was thinking about that. But yeah, and Gingerbreadman, I thought it was a spectator in a previous match, and then I realized that Lichess has introduced a new feature that whenever title players play on Lichess, their games get analyzed automatically. Oh, he goes for the queen sack. What? Oh, that is smart, because he's using the fact that black has only a queen in hand to block with. So that is crazy. So I finally worked out what David meant by C_E. Crazy 8, okay, I see. There is just c5, I guess. Don't have to give up the queen. And I think it's an anti-cheating feature, by the way, Gingerbreadman. So, what to do? There is always... Yeah, there are always like ideas of queen here, but now the king at least has a square to go to. So the black king is safe as long as white doesn't get a queen or something. It's just a case of needing to develop. Yeah, I only discovered it literally 3 days ago, or earlier this week, because I was complaining that some spectator was... There's this queen here, queen takes pawn. I was complaining in a previous CWC match that some spectator was requesting analysis, and then I realized at some point the only spectator there was Oppa, and I realized, this is happening automatically. Oppa doesn't request analysis because I know Oppa doesn't. He doesn't really like analysis. He analyzes himself. He is the engine. BK Bridge, this might actually be okay for black. Yeah. Well, I was hoping for queen takes b2, but this is a nice defense, and suddenly I'm not so sure. And then what? So he takes a bishop. And I don't know how to continue is the problem. Do we have to like grovel, like bishop here and stuff? It seems. Or can we? Are there any ideas like bishop here just to? Because this can't take because it's pinned. I don't know if that works or it's useful. Blitzbullet likes black. Okay. Defend with the king move. And the queen is trapped. So which knight to take? Taking the knight on d1 dislodges that king. On the other hand, you might quite like the king to castle because you've got an open rook file. So, but still, taking on d1 is logical. Takes away a move from the king. And now it's about getting in on these light squares somehow, if you can, I guess. So moves like bishop here, with eyes both ways. Okay, of course he wanted to... That is unfortunate. So that's a bad miss from Garnek. He just hung his piece. Okay, this is looking bad for black now. He's got no pieces in hand. You don't just hang a piece like that. And Duvid's seeing the moves. Bishop d2, win the queen, and so on. Yeah. Time is an issue though. Under 20 seconds for Crazy 8. But yeah, it's hard. He's probably going to sack the queen here. But then if you sack the queen, how do you defend? So yes, I mean it's really good. I mean, this game, I have to say, this has been really well played by Crazy 8, this game. Okay, I'm going to consider this game over. I'm going to quickly fetch a drink before game 6 starts. So see you back in a second. Yeah, we saw the queen being sacked as I predicted, and there's not much hope defending against the two queens. BK bridge, tons of holes everywhere. Yeah, white just winning. So 3-2 to Crazy 8, but Garnek with the white pieces in game 6. So pressure to come up with good openings as white, I guess, for Garnek. So what he's been doing is, it's been Scandi, sort of Scandi. It's been this, it's the same kind of thing, but instead of, it's a slight difference from okay, so this time he does go d4, which is good. And what did he do before? Before he was going castles and knight here, which is also good. So he's going d4 to try and avoid some of the trouble he'd been getting into. And I'll just let pawn in training know, because he's probably on mobile, that it is CWC and Crazy 8 is up 3-2. Okay, so interesting. That and of course, since the knight can't swing over here, the knight decides to put pressure on this one, along with the bishop. I like this line myself. Bishop here, and then the move I tend to play is pawn here. The other move that tends to be played is knight takes, and bishop takes, and putting a third knight here, so you get this sort of like diagonal of knights. So what actually got played was, haha. So instead of going knight here, knight here. But this makes sense because, so I think normally yeah. So the point is you're forking the queen and the bishop, so you're pushing the queen out like so. So that's, I'm guessing, what happened. Oh no, that's not what happened. Instead, Garnek offered to give up the queen for maybe two pieces, because you take here, check, takes back, and then take here. So it's two pieces. 2 pieces for the queen because you'd win this knight and this knight. So 2 knights for the queen, which would be reasonable. So Crazy 8 rejected that. He didn't want a queen for 2 pieces. The queen then comes out with check. The queen comes out to defend. I know I'm running a little bit slow this game. Takes back, and I'm worried. Huh, he missed it. But that's there, right? Queen here check and picks up the knight. But okay, he did this instead. And I'm slightly confused. Why would he do that? Okay, so he does this instead, and black tries to stop white from castling, and in so doing stops that idea. And white defends. You see, this is no good, this move, because takes, replaces the bishop on b5, and black's only improved his position. So this is not where you put your bishop. But what else could he have done? I guess if he goes bishop here, the knight takes it. Pawn takes, bishop takes. It doesn't really improve your position. So this is... okay, this is very subtle. Black was threatening mate on e2. By putting the bishop on e2 and letting it get taken, he's saying now my attack is faster, because this is not a mate threat now. So this is very cunning. So it's not completely foolish. And this is actually going to be quite hard to defend, because if this knight here check takes the rook, these sorts of ideas. So he tries to do this instead, and white can take a rook, but decides, no, I want something more than a rook. So he goes for this with check, and it's now white to move. So I'm sorry, we took a bit of a while trying to catch up to the live position. So it looks like white's down a little bit of material, but he hasn't cashed in yet. And both sides have, it's like both sides have potential weaknesses. So f6 here, this square here. But the question is, which side can make the attack faster? So this move here, just giving up a whole piece, is actually quite smart, because it means that any attack black does would have to be backing off and then starting again. So it just gave white a little bit more speed. Blunderman says bishop e5 was interesting. Just waiting to play it whenever he can, says Gingerbread. At h6 was just waiting to play at h6 whenever he can. Yeah, but it looked like he had a free piece, so that seemed like a bad miss. And that would have stopped all the nonsense, because once you take this knight, you suddenly... Remember, this knight is not just a knight, it's a knight in your half of the board. It's a knight messing with your pieces, which means that when you put this bishop down, you just stick a bishop here, takes, and you're completely solid. So that was a miss. Okay, I am up to the live action, but I think Garnek's thinking too much. But I think maybe for a good reason. So he's going for rook takes knight and defense. Yeah, nice move actually. Hadn't thought of it. Unfortunately, this bishop takes knight, pawn takes, and knight here check, picking up the rook, which doesn't look pleasant. So if bishop takes knight, rook takes knight, is there something concrete? Is there any mate? Yeah, bishop takes knight, exactly. Okay, so he's trying to get back some control, so now he has a choice. He has a choice, but only 22 seconds. It's like, he wants to do this, but does he have enough? So here's a fun move. Pawn here, queen takes pawn, knight here check, takes the queen, and say, I'm winning, with the queen in hand. And that's actually a fun move. And if king takes pawn, queen here check, king here, knight here check, king here, and queen here checkmate. So okay, we're going to see the knight here check, picks up the queen, and actually this looks pretty neat, unless there's something tricky going on. Whoa, he doesn't just want the queen, he wants the queen with check. Okay, that's sneaky. And he couldn't run because bishop here was coming. Oh, oh, that was kind of gorgeous, wasn't it? That was a very, very beautifully played game from garnek123. I have to give some kudos to that. Would queen on h8 be covering that mate? Okay, maybe we'll try and double check. We'll double check it. So what were we saying? So we're saying F key. So the mate I was thinking of was if king takes pawn, then there was queen at e5. Okay, so my mate was too slow. My mate was queen at e5, king here. Yeah, so that's not correct. Because you're right, knight here, check, king d6, king d6. I need to go bishop f4, check, blocks, and it's a whole exchange. Okay, so there was a quicker mate here, which I missed, which is queen at e5 here, and then okay, that was the mate he played in the game. So that was his actual mate, was queen here, check to here, checkmate. Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. So takes. So we had sort of d4, very solid setup. We've seen this play before. Takes. Okay, something's changed now. Because in the previous time we saw it, we saw white go with stuff like takes, and some bishop attacking the queen and some stuff. So this seems like an improvement from Crazy 8. People are joking about f6. I mean, f6 is sometimes necessary because you need to clear away. e5 is, what's the one piece in your opponent's half of the board? It's e5, you just want to clear it out, so you do this. Unfortunately, it comes back at you because it's Crazyhouse, but it's an attempt to try and clear away the weakness. BK Bridge says it's a similar opening, except black traded out the white bishop, the light square bishop early. Right. Well, it's a tight match, this. 3-3. So we have this kind of stone wall structure. So the thing about the stone wall structure is this pawn here can sometimes be overburdened. So, for example, if the queen weren't there, there would be kind of weird ideas of bishop takes pawn, pawn takes, knight takes pawn, stuff like this. Oh, that exists. That exists here, yeah. So, yeah, that's an interesting move here. And I think it might have been missed. Takes, and that gets white right into the attack. Oh, he's done it this way. This is also nice. No, it's not. It doesn't work this way. Because now, if bishop takes pawn, pawn takes, this bishop then hangs. So I think that was an opportunity missed by white. And the reason why that's nice, obviously, is because the knight here is targeting all those key squares. But okay, instead, he's dumping a pawn, targeting f6. Oh, this looks so threatening. So the threat is just simply this and queen. But unfortunately, this would be great in chess. You just want this and queen h7 checkmate. But in Crazyhouse, you can just stick something on h6. So it's not nearly as threatening. Gingerbread says Garnet looking for another f6 in the future. Oh yeah, and you said f6 also allows the queen to defend g7, which is true. Okay, so We saw it this way round, of knight takes, pawn takes knight, bishop takes pawn. But notice how that knight's just doing the jobs. Okay, why can't I just take it? Because then takes here. Okay, I see. But then just pawn here. Pawn here. Oh, this is kind of sweet. Takes here, pawn here. Oh, sorry. Takes here, pawn here. Pawn takes pawn queen, pawn here, checkmate. No, it's not checkmate because of knight. Okay, okay. So this is obviously complicated. So he does take this pawn, and queen takes knight seemed... Oh, what have I just done? I think I accidentally reloaded or something. I'm not quite sure what I did. I expected queen takes knight, but instead he does bishop takes pawn. I don't understand that move. And now Garnek is thinking. I don't understand it because I don't think discovery is... Yeah, okay, I understand it. He wants knight takes bishop, bishop takes check. Yeah, and that's cleared out all the defenders. So knight takes bishop, bishop takes check, and then you go takes, and it's mate. So okay, that's not so stupid. But what about queen takes bishop? Okay, again, bishop takes queen. Okay, yeah, this is not so stupid at all. This is actually quite smart. We're going to have to ditch that queen. Well, okay, so queen takes knight is coming with the threat of... I guess he's holding on because of knight takes, but my goodness, this is scary. And by the way, just simply queen takes rook takes here, checkmate. Ouch. Has he missed it? Okay, so he goes there, check, check, check. Takes back, bishop here. Blunderman says knight at g7 was a move. Knight at g7, yeah, I guess. This looks more promising in a way. I wouldn't say this is lost for black at all. I mean, I still think he's somehow holding in there. It's just obviously a very difficult position. And white still has pawn and knight in hand. Okay, so he's cleared away the defenders. So this is just going to be... So knight takes bishop, there's no defense. No, okay, then bishop takes queen, okay. So he's defended now. He wants knight takes bishop, and so yeah, it's not so easy to see. Okay, so he's got the check and winning the queen. So you block and he takes the queen. Okay, this is going to be this is clearly a time scramble. 10 seconds left. If there's also queen. Queen takes rook is surely going to be enough. Bishop here to keep him in. Oh, he runs away. Okay. Still hanging on in there. I don't think I can give commentary on this. It's black just trying to create... Okay, that's actually very dangerous, that move. Pawn it... So white needs to keep some checks going. He should have mate here. Yeah, white should have mate here. Yeah, he's found the mate with the rook, yeah. So both sides are tough to beat, even when they're completely lost. And that's Crazy 8, 4-3 ahead. And Blunderman1 says, Blunderman doesn't really know what he talks about most of the time. Yeah, I think I can say the same for myself. So we're saying back to this line. Back to this line again. Oof. Oh, this is bad. I think it's bad because, yeah, I'm not sure why it's bad. It just doesn't look good, that's all. Okay, but now this knight is under attack. I think that, was there something faster here? Like queen here, I wonder. And I'm not sure actually. Maybe there wasn't. So now black's got two. So it's interesting. So after this move, he could have just taken this knight. But decided to leave the knight hanging. Yeah, David is right. I think black is at least equal here. And probably even just sack. I'm not sure. Hang on a second. He left open e2. Pawn at e2 even. Pawn at e2 was strong. That was crazy. How did he block e2? Yeah, why was he playing d3 instead of d4? Okay, so it's just simple. d4. But okay. Yeah. And then in this position, I see. Yeah, okay, he's got pawn at e2 now. This is just killing. I can't see a way back now. This is just devastating. Because you're either losing the queen or you're losing a rook and the opponent's getting a queen. It's just utterly devastating. Okay, we'll take the queen. Knight here is a beautiful move here, because you're threatening the bishop and you're threatening queen g1 takes, knight takes f2, checkmate. So you expect knight takes here double check, so you just sidestep. And you're happy to lose the queen because you have a mate threat in response. So yeah, white's in the tank. What do you do? He just did a single check. Interesting. I'm offering you a free bishop, but then I'll put a pawn here and take your rook. I think I will. I think I'll pass on that one. So he defends. So if queen at g1, he's just going to take it. Yeah, BK bridge. Yeah, White needed to clear away some of these attackers for sure from around his king much sooner than he did. So sneaky deflection. Wow, Crazy 8 is playing well. At h3 would be the move. At h3, knight takes pawn. Oh, no. At h3, queen takes pawn. Rook takes, knight takes, f2, checkmate. So queen takes pawn. Very nice. And then you're threatening queen at g8, knight takes g8, queen takes g8, rook takes g8. And then the knight comes in with the smothered mate. So pawn h3, queen takes f2 is is a fun continuation. Let's see if it happens. I can't see how else you want to defend. You could do this, but still queen takes f2 is fun. Queen takes f2. Let's see if it's played by Crazy8. I'm kind of looking forward to this. Oh, hang on. Queen takes f2. There was pawn takes knight, which is slightly annoying, isn't it? I'm sure queen takes f2, pawn takes knight is still getting mated, but why? Queen takes f2, pawn takes knight. We can't mate with the knight anymore, so we'd have to do something like queen takes pawn, king take. Yeah, it's suddenly not so. Yeah, maybe it wasn't so clear. Yeah, BK Bridge says maybe he just takes the knight. Yes, and then suddenly I'm like, where's the finish? You know, I think I probably then take the knight with my queen or something, and if he takes the rook, then I have the smothered mate. No, I don't, because the rook defends. Okay, so yes, so queen takes f2 was how OK loses games. No, I'm just joking. But maybe it is, you know. Gosh, Garnek, so good at defending. I'm sure there was something else, but I'll have to have a look at it after the game. So suddenly this, I don't know, suddenly he's building a wall around his king. But still, bishop h3 kind of idea, just working away on these. Notice how the knight controls the dark squares, and he's going to just work away at the light squares. Doesn't care about the queen, he just has to get in on those light squares, yeah. Knight, knight, just replace a pawn here, keep replacing. Notice he has to use existing pieces, he doesn't have anything, like a rook or the knight. So takes, bishop here. Black, of course is winning. I mean, there might be a mate actually straight away. Queen takes pawn. Queen takes pawn. Game over. Knight here, check. King here. Why can't I see? Why can't I see the finish? Queen takes pawn. It's obviously mate. I just can't quite see the. Okay, he's taking. He's going for style, I guess. You know, bishop here and so on. Okay, look, this was completely game over. Okay, but let me just have a quick look at this. Let me have a quick look. Okay, so in this position here, I'm going to just turn on engine to have a look at the mating pattern. So queen takes h5 was apparently correct, and apparently the only move which is better for black. I am stunned. So queen takes pawn, just pawn takes knight, and white is crushing. That I am so shocked. I am really shocked. Okay, I am very shocked by that. Now in this position here, yeah, the moment, yeah, obviously black's completely winning. But the moment the knight gets deflected from defending h2, queen takes h2 as a mate. Now, of course, I didn't notice queen at h3 straight away, and I was trying to find moves like knight at g4, king h3, and then queen here check somehow. And then the other idea was knight here, king. Okay, I didn't realize this was blocked. So, even if this was blocked, what's the mating pattern here? It's knight at f3, king h3, bishop at f5, pawn at g4, and then queen at h2. Okay, so that was the mating pattern. That's the one I was just trying to get a hold on. So you block him off, is the point. Because if you go queen at h2 directly, then he starts trying to run, and it gets a bit more complicated. You'll probably mate him in the end, but it's just a bit more complicated. So okay, so that was just okay. At the end, it felt like Crazy8 was just slightly toying with him, because obviously in this position here, of course here just queen takes pawn straight away, and queen at h3 we said was mate. So by doing this, he was just toying in a way with his opponent. So Crazy 8 takes a 5-3 lead. And we see again this interesting move, knight takes pawn. I wonder if that's been played ever before in the Lichess database. And Duvid said, "Is this book knight takes d5, sacking both knights on d5?" I mean, again, yeah. I mean, this is weird. It seems a bit much. So it's not quite it. Garnek needs to win the next two to hold. And Gingerbreadman, yeah, he likes his sacks on d5 for sure. Oh, and of course, Lipa01 was saying that just Queen h2 in the last game was made. Of course, yeah, we all saw something like that was made, although I didn't see the line exactly. He says he looks in control here. Well, so he's got pawns instead of pieces. How many pawns has he got? He's got one pawn for a piece. So I mean, his pawns are quite good. I mean, they're controlling a lot of the center. So you can see this is a desperate attempt to open up the rook file, and it succeeds. So you create it. It's like it's double-edged. You create a weakness, but you open up the rook file. Yeah, then you have a bishop on c8, which is going to be a bit sad. Takes. So yeah, e6 is going to be a real weakness, unfortunately. So the point is, if you take with the pawn drop can. Oh no, sorry. If you take with the pawn drop can come on g6. But if you take with the bishop, then there's bishop takes bishop, and the bishop lands on e6, takes whatever. I mean, takes the bishop, bishop takes bishop, pawn takes bishop, bishop drop on e6, maybe a pawn drop then takes, this sort of idea. Or if you move the king, you're just left with a thorn in your position. So it's a bit of a problem. So you take with the pawn, I guess, but then g6 is weak. I guess you have to take with the pawn, but it's just uncomfortable. Yeah, so he will take with the pawn for sure. He's thinking a long time on this one. I think he will take with the pawn, because you can go pawn here, but the king is actually safe on h8. So pawn takes is actually fine. Vladimir Vacheslavsky says rook takes f5. You're Morlock, aren't you? Just remind me. So rook takes f5. Okay. And Gingerbreadman says light squares holy. Yeah. Okay. So this keeps your light squares more secure. But wasn't g takes just fine? But okay. But here you might want to go bishop takes just to keep an eye on h3. And if ever you're checked along this diagonal, maybe you just secure. But the problem is, yeah, white's still in control actually. Because the problem is there's a check here, block, and pawn at g4, hitting this bishop with tempo. So I don't see what rook takes f5 has achieved, but sure, maybe we get a bit more control. And Duvid has an interesting suggestion in the Lichess chat. We have enough pawns for that, certainly. But Crazy 8 going a slightly slower route. Okay, it looks like a queen trade's coming. Yeah, Gingerbreadman knight f4 I think earlier was very interesting. Whereas here, wow, maybe suddenly black's suddenly developing something. So the knight is guarding g1, and the bishop's guarding here. So he's going for a smother. So we need to defend f2. So he defends for the queen. He takes the knight, which was guarding g1. So he goes bishop takes, guarding this. It's just incredibly tricky. He wanted to double check discovery. Okay, so black is really asking questions, but white seems to be answering them. Oof, he's cleared away all of these a lot of these defenders. Suddenly, even rook takes was interesting. Okay, so this takes, bishop takes. He's going to have to take this rook at some point and threaten rook h1 mate. Knight h3 check doesn't do anything. So he just went for defense. Takes here, replaces the bishop here. This is scary stuff for both. Only 1 second on the clock for Crazy 8. He wants knight. Hang on. Oh yeah, he needed 2 pawns for mate. He only had 1 pawn. Scary. King here, so the rook covers. Block. Knight takes bishop, but then you can run. You have to take, otherwise queen here would be mate. No, no, no. Oh. Wow. I kind of left slightly in shock silence there. Wow. Okay. I mean that swung both ways. That definitely swung both ways. You see, white was let's see. Crazy game. So at the end, obviously, white was in control and managed to find the mate. Obviously, rook takes pawn didn't work because queen at f8 was the problem. I see. Yeah, the bishop was defending f8. So therefore, we had to go this way, and this way it was dead. So that was neat, actually, clearing away the defender. But going back a little bit, black's actually in control here. At h2, knight g4, rook takes h3 is all correct. Turns out that's a mistake. King g8 was the move. And taking was a huge mistake. King g8 is the move. Very tricky. F. Gala says, these 2400s are good. Who knew? You just look at these. So here, it's like they never had That's the thing with these people. They never have like clear mates. Okay, so here's a clear mate in 5, but white missed. So the clear mate in 5 is knight at f8. Wow. Okay. So you can't defend both knight checks, and then you get mated. Okay, that's pretty neat. Of course, the point being, if you don't take it and just keep running, then you also get the same kind of thing happening. So that's quite pretty, actually, because the knight behaves like a bishop would, guarding the 2 flight squares of the king. That's actually a nice pattern, actually, to recognize. If a queen and bishop are 3 apart, then the king can never escape. But if a queen and knight are 4 apart, then the king can never escape. That's actually something maybe I'd never really noticed that before. So you get just these. So black was winning, but never had quite like a complete knockout blow. I mean, so anything like this, you just take it. Yeah. So black's win was based on. It was never like a mate. It was just based on having to defend accurately. But if you just look at just went up and down. 10, 11 blunders from either side, like 192 average centre pawn loss. So really crazy game. So white had a win here with king g1 instead of taking, just king g1, and black's pawns actually defend white. So pawn g4, just get to work on these light squares. So exactly, it's not something concrete. It's just neither side had concrete mates. It just had important defensive moves that they missed, really hard ones. So yeah, really interesting game. Definitely one worth taking another look at. Congratulations to Crazy8, definitely. PKR says queen takes h2 check. Looked winning. Yeah, I think that was a mouse slip though, of some kind. I think he expected rook takes, but then if he expected rook takes, he'd have gone queen takes h3. So yeah, I think that was some kind of mouse slip. I mean, not a mouse slip, but sort of slip in low time. King takes h2, knight at g4, maybe king h1. What's the aim? Rook at h2, king here, rook takes bishop then. I see. And if king takes, we then mate with the bishop, because the knight controls the dark square. And we have another bishop for g2 to finish things off. So just pawn and bishop to finish things off. So you can't take that bishop, so you keep running. And then, okay, maybe have I missed a mate? I'm sure it said it saw mate, but so it has to go king f1, and now what? And now you have to leave it to think. With the pawn and bishop in hand. So, I mean, an obvious try would be something like this, but then you get mated apparently at h7. Knight here check, here, knight here check, takes, knight here check. So this is difficult. So you can't even keep attacking necessarily. Okay, I didn't realize this. So after this, you have to play a move like this just to defend. Not because you're threatening. I mean, you are threatening something, surely. But apparently you're not. Wow, so it's actually just really important for both sides to defend. It's not one of those things where you think, it's not like they missed mate, it's that they made defensive errors. It was important to defend your own attacks before being patient and continuing with your own attack. Hi there, Cross Online. Yeah, I streamed your match against Gingerbreadman earlier. And yeah, he gave you a hard time. And yeah, I'll put it up on my YouTube once the stream ends. They'll be saved on Twitch for a short time, and they'll go on YouTube hopefully for as long as YouTube lasts. Abhijit Go said, yeah, roller coaster game, and congratulating Cross Online for his win. And yeah, so we enjoyed 2 matches. It was like I think Clearcast was the first up this afternoon with Mugwort against Mahia94, and then Maple Care from Canada against Shord from Holland, and we then had the late afternoon bill, as it were, with Gingerbreadman17 against Cross Online, which we enjoyed first, and then this match we just saw, Crazy8 against garnek123. And Abhijit says YouTube will last for the next decade for sure. For sure, but maybe they'll start charging people. That's the only worry. Or maybe they'll just start deleting people's videos. They'll say, nah, you haven't had too many views. There's no harm if we just accidentally lose all your material. So that would be the one concern with YouTube. If it was in their financial interest for their shareholders to lose all of the videos of anyone who has less than 1,000 subscribers, they might actually do it because they just want to please their shareholders in future. Whereas historically, they have been acting in the public interest because they want to attain public goodwill and so on. But if it changes, who knows? So Gingerbreadman says, can we look at knight at f8 and king g8? But I think we did look at that, no? But you're going to have to tell me where this is. Knight at f8, this one? Lost force checkmate sequence, knight at f8, yeah, this one. Knight at f8, oh, if you go king g8 straight away, then it's just a smother. So I'd have gone here check, but that wouldn't be mate, because then the bishop would come back giving you luft. So you go smother immediately, and it's mate. I think that's what you meant. And Gingerbreadman says, move 60, a long mate for black. So let's go, king g8. So this is a mate for black. The way of king g8, if bishop here, okay, so go takes here, check, takes back, takes here. You keep on taking. So the point is you have to keep on defending. This is the thing about Gingerbreadman's game, is he needed to take that move out to defend. So if I say, what's the theme of today's 2 matches, is you have to take that one move out quite often to defend, and this is like a pretty good example of it, right? So it's like king g8, bishop here, okay, we can attack. Okay, we need to take this move out to defend, and then we can attack again. So why do we have to take the move out to defend? Like, why can't we just take here? Apparently we can just take there. So I'm just going to say take here, and then take a move out to defend. I mean, this is just silly. It's just this is really what's going on here. He doesn't actually have a defense. It's just a. But I'll play the computer line. It was this, but basically he doesn't have a defense, and he's just something's gone wrong. Yeah, so you just keep going, is the point. Whenever he just does this, you take it, and whenever he tries to defend, you take it again. And eventually he runs out of pieces. That's the actual mate. So knight h6 check, you just take it. Queen at g2, you just take it. King takes g2, so it's like, he can't really do anything. So you're threatening, obviously, this, and there's just no way of stopping it. You could try and run, it doesn't work. You're pushed back again, and you have to get this. So it's all over. Oh, Cross Online, you're too kind, giving your Prime sub. I don't really pay attention to subs and so on, but thanks a lot for the sub. Okay, wonderful games, and well, congratulations to Crazy8 and to Cross Online. Hope you go far in your ongoing matches. Commiserations to Gingerbreadman. What a fight you put up. And garnek123. I don't know. Garnek123 played really well, but Crazy8 was just maybe just a slightly better prepared from the opening and stuff. So probably slight rustiness in the opening from Garnek. But you saw a game like this, which Crazy8 won, despite Garnek having plenty of opportunities to come back and take it. So great play, great play. And Crazy8 just joins. Hi there, just joined. Didn't even know my match was live streamed. Yeah, I'm just closing out just now. I covered your match and I covered Cross Online Gingerbread before it. And if there's someone I should raid, then let me know. And yeah, it should be up on YouTube later. Who should we raid? We could raid I don't know anyone in particular streaming, so why not just raid Jobava, who is playing in the Mr. Dodgy International. And he's famous for dancing through his matches, so maybe that's entertaining. So, and I might actually be back in I might actually be back in 2.5 hours for the final match of tonight. But I'll see you around. Bye everyone, and have a good evening.